What's up, guys? It's Team Blacktop YGO here. This is Connor today. He's got a Blue Eyes White Dragon / Mekk-Knight deck profile for you. We're doing some restructuring for the channel. We're going to include some of my friends who've pretty recently, I would say, gotten into competitive-ish Yu-Gi-Oh! So we're going to include them in some videos. But right now, we're going to have Connor do his deck profile. Now, keep in mind, this is a, how would you describe this? Not a very...
It's fun to play with friends, and it's good to play at locals. I probably wouldn't play it at like a regional or anything, but it's fun to play with.
All right, yeah, so fun to play with, and I think that's the most important thing. It is a game after all, so we're gonna get into that right here.
All right, well, in this deck, I run 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons, obviously, and I also run 3 Blue Eyes Alternate White Dragons. They're very useful, have a good destroying effect, and can be summoned easily from the hand. I run 2 Dragon Spirit of Whites. They're treated as normal monsters, so they're pretty good. I also have a banishment effect for spells and traps. I run 3 White Son of Ancients. That's really useful in summoning Blue Eyes, and you can also add them back from graveyard to hand. I run 2 Sage with Eyes of Blue because you can target an effect monster you control.
Oh, so why don't you run 3 of this?
Oh, I only run 2 because I kind of tend to brick if I draw more than, that.
Oh,
and
okay.
I can also target a White Son of Ancients, and you get to summon 2 in that turn.
Right.
So, now that's pretty much it for the Blue Eyes part of it, monster-wise. So here's the Mekk-Knight part. I run 3 purple. That's pretty standard in most Mekk-Knight variants because purple has a quick effect of banishment, and you can search out other Mekk-Knights. I run 1 indigo, which is only quick effect is moving to different columns, which is actually fairly useful when summoning Mekk-Knights because they have an on-column summoning effect. And then I run 2 blue because they search out purples or indigos. So like these search out these, and these search out these, and this one just kind of moves. But it's very useful in this deck because most of them, all of them but blue are level 8s, which is good for Zixi summoning. They're all light monsters, which is good just for
and they're all like trading, like all of them except for blue are trading targets too,
oh, yeah,
right?
they're all level
and
8s
they're
for trade-in.
good extenders, especially going second and stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Hand trap wise, I run 3 Ash Blossom. Just they're very, very useful, and they don't take up much space in the deck.
Best hand trap.
Oh, definitely. Now moving on to the spells portion, I run 3 Return of the Dragon Lords, which is somewhat like a Monster Reborn, but only for level 7 or 8s dragon monsters in your graveyard, and they can be banished from your graveyard to protect your dragons on the field. Very useful. I run 1 actual Monster Reborn, just because, why not? I also run 2 Silver's Cry. These can bring your Blue Eyes or your Blue Eyes Spirit Dragons back from the graveyard, and they're quick play, so I like it. 2 Dragon Shrines. You can send Blue Eyes or any dragon you want from deck to grave. These are really awesome with White Stone of Ancients because you get to summon on the end phase. And very, very useful in this deck. I run 3 Trade-In. Target level 8s. Get discard, draw 2 cards. You want Blue Eyes in your graveyard, so that's great. I play 1 Soul Charge just because it's really useful for like if you want to get a bunch out for like linking or Zixis or whatever you want to do. I run 3 Melody of the Awakening Dragon. Discard a card, get to add 2 dragons from deck to hand. Very, very useful to getting 1 Blue Eyes and 1 Blue Eyes alt, because then you get to summon the Blue Eyes alt. I play 1 Raigeki, just, for problematic situations, or if you want to just clear their board and OTK them. I run 2 Twin, because a lot of these cards want to be in the graveyard, plus it's a great back row, getting rid of. This is something that I just like to play. I play 1 Burden of the Mighty. It doesn't really help in summoning anything in this deck, but it does help people like me not crash, since mine are at 3,000. People like to crash to get rid of like my Zixis and stuff. This really helps. Awesome card in this deck. I play Skill Drain. Takes away all effects of monsters on the field, so if you can get 3,000 beaters out, people have a hard time getting around that. I also play 1 Waking the Dragon, which is great if people like to pop your back row. You get to summon from your extra deck or main deck if it's destroyed. I like to play Void Trap Hole. It can get rid of pesky monsters that your opponent summon with 2,000 or more attack, such as Thunder Dragons or all sorts of stuff, and negates their effects and destroys them. And then I also play 1 World Legacy Secret. World Legacy Secret acts as a Monster Reborn on activation, but then while it's on the field, your opponent cannot activate effects in columns that your Mekk-Knight monsters are in. This is really good, plus you can search it with a link, so... Finally, I play 1 Gozen Match. Awesome card in this deck because they're all light monsters. It means your opponent has to pick an attribute and stick with it. So if you're running against a non-pure deck, that's a pretty good card to use. Want to go to my side deck?
No, go into extra deck. We don't have to do side deck.
Yeah. Well, I do side 2 more of these just in case. Extra deck wise, I play 1 Synchro, Azure Eyes Silver Dragon. You can summon it using a tuner and a non-tuner. So basically a Blue Eyes and a White Stone would be great. This is great for getting normal monsters out of your graveyard onto the field during standby phases, and it's good for protecting them for 1 turn. Xyxes wise, I play these 4. All level 8s, so you can summon them with their Mekk-Knights or your Blue Eyes. Very good for that. This one's basically a 4,000 beater, but it can go into 5,600. This one can attack your opponent directly and negate effects. This one can steal your opponent's monsters, and this one can negate spells. So together, it's just a very good like option list of screwing over your opponent. Link-wise, for the Mekk-Knights, I'll play Mekk-Knight of the Morning Star and Mekk-Knight Spectrum Supreme. This one you only need 1 Mekk-Knight and another monster. This one you need 3. Can attack directly, and if it doesn't point to any monsters in the monster zones, unaffected by card effects. This one, Mekk-Knights can't be destroyed unless the monster they're battling is in the same column. Very useful, and on some this can search out World Legacy Secret. Very, very useful. For the Blue Eyes part of this, I do play Link Karibo because all you need is 1 tuner on the field, and then you can summon him and the tuners in the graveyard for the graveyard effect of the end phase. Very, very nice. I play Borload because with all these Mekk-Knights that you can summon on very easily, I mean, it's fairly easy to go into Borload if you need to. For the Nightmares, I don't run Unicorn as that's a bit pricey, but I will run Cerberus and Phoenix for problematic back rows or monsters that I can't destroy. I'll run 1 Saryuja just because if you want to. This is a good deck to have. You can special summon from hand once per turn end if you want to, because that's 3,000 attack monsters. And then finally, I'll play 1 Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. All you need is 2 Blue Eyes on the field, and you can just send them to the graveyard to summon this. And it can't be destroyed by battle, can attack twice, and banishes monsters that it can't destroy. So it's very useful. Side deck wise, I'll run 1 Effect Veiler for a hand trap if you want it. Cards of Continents, drawing for tuners. I'll run 2 more World Legacy Secret if I know that they're running a pure deck. This will help a lot more than Gozen. And I also side deck 2 Gozen if I know they're running an impure deck, because that can really screw people over if they can't summon more than 1 attribute.
And by pure and impure, you mean pure as in like mono attribute and impure as in multiple attributes?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And then I also run 2 Called by the Grave, very useful card, as well as 1 World Legacy Memory, because this one can summon purple from your deck. Purple can add other Mekk-Knights, so it's just a good search.
Yeah, it's a good starter card, definitely.
Definitely. And that is my Blue Eyes Mekk-Knight deck.
Okay, so I got a couple questions here. So one of the things, what was the question? So are you planning on like adding any more cards to this deck, getting anything else for the extra deck or main deck or anything like that?
Actually, yeah, I've ordered Arcbrave Dragon and Amorphage Goliath, which is a good kind of like thing in this deck, because I also ordered an extra deck monster, Galaxy Eyes Dark Matter Dragon.
Number 95, yeah.
Yeah, number 95. And all I need to summon that is 2 level 8s, go into a Galaxy Eyes, and then go from that to Dark Matter. And Dark Matter's effect is I can send 3 dragons from my deck to my grave with different names. Your opponent has to banish 3 monsters from their deck. And if you send Arcbrave and Goliath, the very next turn, Arcbrave's effect will activate, and you can summon Goliath to the field. It's about 2,750 attack, but its effect is when it's on the field, neither player can go into their extra deck. Yeah. So if you're playing against someone who just extra decks all the time, such as like Sky Strikers or Thunder Dragons, and you have an easy way to get 3,000 attack beaters out with Blue Eyes, it really helps. I'm definitely going to add that in, and maybe a few more Xyxes monsters, just because it's so easy to Xyxes into level 8s with this deck. Other than that, I'm going to keep it pretty much as it is. I'd like to cut it down a few cards. I'm going to work on that. And other than that, that's it.
All right, thank you, Connor, and thank you guys so much for watching. This is Team Blacktop signing off. Peace.